Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Computer science. A tiny electromagnetic coil and metal pole used to write and read magnetic patterns on a disk. Be in charge of. Who is heading this project? A person who is in charge. The head of the whole operation. That which is responsible for one's thoughts, feelings, and conscious brain functions. The seat of the faculty of reason. I couldn't get his words out of my head. Be the first or leading member of a group and excel. This student heads the class. The educator who has executive authority for a school. The upper part of the human body or the front part of the body in animals contains the face and brains. He stuck his head out the window. Travel in front of. Go in advance of others. The procession was headed by John. The part in the front or nearest the viewer. He was at the head of the column. A line of text serving to indicate what the passage below it is about. The heading seemed to have little to do with the text. A V-shaped mark at one end of an arrow pointer. A difficult juncture. Matters came to a head yesterday. Forward movement. The ship made little headway against the gale. Oral stimulation of the genitals. They say he gives good head. A dense cluster of flowers or foliage. A head of cauliflower. The subject matter at issue. Under the head of minor Roman poets. Direct the course. Determine the direction of traveling. The source of water from which a stream arises. They tracked him back toward the head of the stream. A natural elevation, especially a rocky one that juts out into the sea. Grammar. The word in a grammatical constituent that plays the same grammatical role as the whole constituent. A membrane that is stretched taut over a drum. An individual person. Tickets are $5 per head. A projection out from one end. The head of the nail. A rounded compact mass. The head of a comet. A single domestic animal. 200 head of cattle. A user of, usually soft, drugs. The office was full of secret heads. Be in the front of or on top of. The list was headed by the name of the president. Form a head or come or grow to a head. The wheat headed early this year. Nautical. A toilet on board a boat or ship. Remove the head of. Head the fish. Take its rise. These rivers head from a mountain range in the Himalayas. That part of a skeletal muscle that is away from the bone that it moves. The foam or froth that accumulates at the top when you pour an effervescent liquid into a container. The beer had a large head of foam. The front of a military formation or procession. The head of the column advanced boldly. The length or height based on the size of a human or animal head. He is 2 heads taller than his little sister. The pressure exerted by a fluid. A head of steam. The rounded end of a bone that fits into a rounded cavity in another bone to form a joint. The head of the humerus. The striking part of a tool. The head of the hammer. The tip of an abscess, where the pus accumulates. The top of something. The head of the stairs. To go or travel towards. Where is she heading? Usually plural, the obverse side of a coin that usually bears the representation of a person's head. Call heads or tails. Computer science. A tiny electromagnetic coil and metal pole used to write and read magnetic patterns on a disk. Be in charge of. The introductory section of a story. It was an amusing lead-in to a very serious matter. Take somebody somewhere. We lead him to our chief. Produce as a result or residue. Be conducive to. The use of computers in the classroom lead to better writing. Lead, as in the performance of a composition. A jumper that consists of a short piece of wire. It was a tangle of jumper cables and clip leads. A news story of major importance. Travel in front of. Go in advance of others. Lead, extend, or afford access. Move ahead of others, in time or space. Preside over. A soft, heavy, toxic, malleable metallic element. Bluish-white when freshly cut but tarnishes readily to dull gray. The children were playing with lead soldiers. Cause something to pass or lead somewhere. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. Be ahead of others. Be the first. An actor who plays a principal role. Evidence pointing to a possible solution. The police are following a promising lead. Thin strip of metal used to separate lines of type in printing. Restraint consisting of a rope, or light chain, used to restrain an animal. The timing of ignition relative to the position of the piston in an internal combustion engine. An indication of potential opportunity. A good lead for a job. Mixture of graphite with clay in different degrees of hardness. The marking substance in a pencil. An advantage held by a competitor in a race. He took the lead at the last turn. A position of being the initiator of something and an example that others will follow, especially in the phrase, take the lead. He takes the lead in any group. Baseball. The position taken by a base runner preparing to advance to the next base. He took a long lead off first. Cause to undertake a certain action. Sports. The score by which a team or individual is winning. Tend to or result in. This remark lead to further arguments among the guests. The angle between the direction a gun is aimed and the position of a moving target, correcting for the flight time of the missile. The playing of a card to start a trick in bridge. The lead was in the dummy. A person who is in charge. The head of a tribe or clan. A person who exercises control over workers. Most important element. The chief aim of living. A person who is in charge. That which is responsible for one's thoughts, feelings, and conscious brain functions. The seat of the faculty of reason. Mental ability. He's got plenty of brains but no common sense. Someone who has exceptional intellectual ability and originality. That part of the central nervous system that includes all the higher nervous centers, enclosed within the skull, continuous with the spinal cord. Hit on the head. Kill by smashing someone's skull. The brain of certain animals used as meat. Pay close attention to, give heed to. That which is responsible for one's thoughts, feelings, and conscious brain functions, the seat of the faculty of reason. His mind wandered. Knowledge and intellectual ability. He reads to improve his mind. Keep in mind. An important intellectual. The great minds of the 17th century. Be in charge of or deal with. Your intention. What you intend to do. He had in mind to see his old teacher. An opinion formed by judging something. She changed her mind. Be on one's guard. Be cautious or wary about. Be alert to. Attention. Don't pay him any mind. Be concerned with or about something or somebody. Be offended or bothered by. Take offense with, be bothered by. I don't mind your behavior. Recall or remembrance. It came to mind. That which is responsible for one's thoughts, feelings, and conscious brain functions, the seat of the faculty of reason. Common sense. She has great social nous. That which is responsible for one's thoughts, feelings, and conscious brain functions, the seat of the faculty of reason. The immaterial part of a person, the actuating cause of an individual life. Greek mythology. A beautiful princess loved by Cupid who visited her at night and told her she must not try to see him, became the personification of the soul. Be the first or leading member of a group, and excel. The educator who has executive authority for a school. The educator who has executive authority for a school. She sent unruly pupils to see the principal. The major party to a financial transaction at a stock exchange. Buys and sells for his own account. An actor who plays a principal role. Capital is contrasted with the income derived from it. Most important element. The principal rivers of America. Criminal law. Any person involved in a criminal offense, regardless of whether the person profits from such involvement. The original amount of a debt on which interest is calculated. The educator who has executive authority for a school. The upper part of the human body or the front part of the body in animals, contains the face and brains. A head-like protuberance on an organ or structure. The caput humeri is the head of the humerus which fits into a cavity in the scapula. The part in the front or nearest the viewer. He was in the forefront. The position of greatest importance or advancement, the leading position in any movement or field. The Cotswolds were once at the forefront of woolen manufacturing in England. Brick that is laid sideways at the top of a wall. Horizontal beam used as a finishing piece over a door or window. A line of text serving to indicate what the passage below it is about. A framing member crossing and supporting the ends of joists, studs, or rafters so as to transfer their weight to parallel joists, studs, or rafters. A headlong jump, or fall. He took a header into the shrubbery. A machine that cuts the heads off grain and moves them into a wagon. Soccer. The act of hitting the ball with your head. The direction or path along which something moves or along which it lies. A line of text serving to indicate what the passage below it is about. The heading seemed to have little to do with the text. A horizontal, or nearly horizontal, passageway in a mine. Be oriented. The weather vane points north. Sail close to the wind. Repair the joints of bricks. Point a chimney. Any of 32 horizontal directions indicated on the card of a compass. He checked the point on his compass. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Her behavior points to a severe neurosis. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. A distinct part that can be specified separately in a group of things that could be enumerated on a list. The main point on the agenda was taken up first. An outstanding characteristic. His acting was one of the high points of the movie. A V shape. The cannibal's teeth were filed to sharp points. A contact in the distributor. As the rotor turns, its projecting arm contacts them and current flows to the spark plugs. The dot at the left of a decimal fraction. Direct into a position for use. Point a gun. Indicate a place, direction, person, or thing, either spatially or figuratively. He pointed to the empty parking space. The property of a shape that tapers to a sharp tip. The gun muzzle's direction. He held me up at the point of a gun. A V-shaped mark at one end of an arrow pointer. The point of the arrow was due north. An isolated fact that is considered separately from the whole. A point of information. A wall socket. An instant of time. At that point I had to leave. A very small circular shape. A row of points. Direct the course. Determine the direction of traveling. Give a point to. Intend something, to move towards a certain goal. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. A brief version of the essential meaning of something. Get to the point. A distinguishing or individuating characteristic. He knows my bad points as well as my good points. A geometric element that has position but no extension. A point is defined by its coordinates. A linear unit used to measure the size of type, approximately 1/72 inch. A promontory extending out into a large body of water. They sailed south around the point. A style in speech or writing that arrests attention and has a penetrating or convincing quality or effect. Be positionable in a specified manner. The gun points with ease. Indicate the presence of game by standing and pointing with the muzzle. The dog pointed the dead duck. Mark, a psalm text, to indicate the points at which the music changes. Mark, Hebrew words, with diacritics. Mark with diacritics. Point the letter. 1% of the total principal of a loan. It is paid at the time the loan is made and is independent of the interest on the loan. Sharp end. He stuck the point of the knife into a tree. The object of an activity. What is the point of discussing it? The precise location of something, a spatially limited location. She walked to a point where she could survey the whole street. The unit of counting in scoring a game or contest. He scored 20 points in the first half. Move past. A black limousine passed by when she looked out the window. Eliminate from the body. Grant authorization or clearance for. A usually brief attempt. Success in satisfying a test or requirement. His future depended on his passing that test. Come to pass. Of advancing the ball by throwing it. A team with a good passing attack. Pass from physical life and lose all bodily attributes and functions necessary to sustain life. A document indicating permission to do something without restrictions. The media representatives had special passes. Cause to pass. She passed around the plates. Be superior or better than some standard. Transmit information. Pass along the good news. Go unchallenged. Be approved. Pass over, across, or through. Place into the hands or custody of. Sports. The act of throwing the ball to another member of your team. The pass was fumbled. Pass into a specified state or condition. Make laws, bills, etc. or bring into effect by legislation. They passed the amendment. A difficult juncture. A pretty pass. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. A permit to enter or leave a military installation. He had to show his pass in order to get out. Pass by. A bad or difficult situation or state of affairs. Travel past. The sports car passed all the trucks. Disappear gradually. The pain eventually passed off. American football. A play that involves one player throwing the ball to a teammate. The coach sent in a passing play on 3rd and long. Baseball. An advance to first base by a batter who receives 4 balls. The location in a range of mountains of a geological formation that is lower than the surrounding peaks. We got through the pass before it started to snow. An automatic advance to the next round in a tournament without playing an opponent. Go successfully through a test or a selection process. She passed the New Jersey bar exam and can practice law now. Be inherited by. Use up a period of time in a specific way. Any authorization to pass or go somewhere. The pass to visit had a strict time limit. Accept or judge as acceptable. The teacher passed the student although he was weak. A complimentary ticket. The star got passes for his family. A flight or run by an aircraft over a target. The plane turned to make a second pass. Allow to go without comment or censure. The insult passed as if unnoticed. Go across or through. We passed the point where the police car had parked. Military. a written leave of absence. He had a pass for 3 days. One complete cycle of operations, as by a computer. It was not possible to complete the computation in a single pass. Throw a ball to another player. Smith passed. Transfer to another, of rights or property. Our house passed under his official control. A difficult juncture. A bad or difficult situation or state of affairs. Vertical space available to allow easy passage under something. Forward movement. The ship made little headway against the gale. Oral stimulation of the genitals. A dense cluster of flowers or foliage. Fruiting spike of a cereal plant, especially corn. An arrangement of leafy branches forming the top or head of a tree. Uncertainty about the truth or factuality or existence of something. There is no question about the validity of the enterprise. A sentence of inquiry that asks for a reply. He asked a direct question. Challenge the accuracy, probity, or propriety of. We must question your judgment in this matter. Pose a series of questions to. The suspect was questioned by the police. A formal proposal for action made to a deliberative assembly for discussion and vote. She called for the question. Conduct an interview in television, newspaper, and radio reporting. The subject matter at issue. The question of disease merits serious discussion. An instance of questioning. There was a question about my training. Place in doubt or express doubtful speculation. Pose a question. An informal reference to a marriage proposal. He was ready to pop the question. Cause to form a channel. Make a channel for, provide with a channel. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. Send from one person or place to another. Cause to form a channel. Channelize a stream. Make a channel for, provide with a channel. Channelize the country for better transportation. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. Send from one person or place to another. Plan and direct, a complex undertaking. Take somebody somewhere. Having no intervening persons, agents, conditions. In direct sunlight. Put an address on an envelope. Specifically design a product, event, or activity for a certain public. Lead, as in the performance of a composition. In a straight unbroken line of descent from parent to child. A direct descendant of the king. Cause to go somewhere. He directed all his energies into his dissertation. In precisely the same words used by a writer or speaker. A direct quotation. Without deviation. The path leads directly to the lake. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. Intend, something, to move towards a certain goal. Criticism directed at her superior. Point or cause to go, blows, weapons, or objects such as photographic equipment, towards. Be in charge of. being an immediate result or consequence. A direct result of the accident. Command with authority. He directed the children to do their homework. Direct in spatial dimensions, proceeding without deviation or interruption, straight and short. A direct route. Give directions to, point somebody into a certain direction. I directed them towards the town hall. Guide the actors in plays and films. Lacking compromising or mitigating elements, exact. The direct opposite. Moving from west to east on the celestial sphere, or, for planets, around the sun in the same direction as the Earth. Of a current, flowing in one direction only. Direct current. Similar in nature or effect or relation to another quantity. A term is in direct proportion to another term if it increases, or decreases, as the other increases, or decreases. Straightforward in means or manner or behavior or language or action. A direct question. Use as a guide. They had the lights to guide on. Be a guiding or motivating force or drive. Take somebody somewhere. Something that offers basic information or instruction. Someone employed to conduct others. Someone who can find paths through unexplored territory. Pass over, across, or through. A model or standard for making comparisons. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. A structure or marking that serves to direct the motion or positioning of something. Someone who shows the way by leading or advising. An action aimed at evading an opponent. A deliberate coordinated movement requiring dexterity and skill. He made a great maneuver. A move made to gain a tactical end. Act in order to achieve a certain goal. He maneuvered to get the chairmanship. Perform a movement in military or naval tactics in order to secure an advantage in attack or defense. A plan for attaining a particular goal. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. A military training exercise. Act in order to achieve a certain goal. Perform a movement in military or naval tactics in order to secure an advantage in attack or defense. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. An action aimed at evading an opponent. A deliberate coordinated movement requiring dexterity and skill. A move made to gain a tactical end. Act in order to achieve a certain goal. Perform a movement in military or naval tactics in order to secure an advantage in attack or defense. A plan for attaining a particular goal. Direct the course, determine the direction of traveling. A military training exercise.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.